Long Island actor and filmmaker Russ Camarda recently reflected on his career on stage and screen.
As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be an actor. I did a lot of theater, I managed theaters, I helped start theater companies, did a lot of improv, troupe stuff, and then I started directing, and I directed in the theater, and then I moved into behind the camera and film. And I've just been involved in it one way or the other for the last 20 years. Take some time to study, learn your craft, understand what an actor does, what an actor's language is, how to approach a character, how to break down a scene. It's very important to understand that. Then as soon as you've done that, get up and do it. Local community theater, wherever you can get on stage in front of people, do it. And eventually what happens is two things. One, you build up yourself as an actor, as a craftsperson in the art, but you're also making connections. And one leads to the other, and then you meet this guy and you meet that guy, and after 20 years you're doing movies with all your friends, and that's the way it works. In my first feature, Lower Than the Angels, I played a Jesuit priest who's investigating claims of false miracles. And in the end, he has to discover his place as a priest and as a man because he's got his own dark past. So that was a very heavy, dramatic piece. Towards the end of the movie, I'm a priest and I'm sort of breaking down in front of this woman. I'm in her arms and I'm spilling my guts as to my past. And that was a pretty intense scene. Video Guys, and it was basically a romantic comedy and about wedding videographers. And I played Rick, who was sort of the tough guy, heartless, video guy, kind of sick of his job, and by the end of the movie, he gets a heart.
I know as a kid that sometimes you face difficult challenges, and you need an adult to help you out. You're gonna go up there, and you're gonna do your candlelighting.
No.
Aaron, you're gonna do your candlelighting, or I'm gonna put your head through that wall.
What?
See, Aaron, I'm not a nice man, and I'll crack your skull if you give me a chance. So let's go. Okay, we're ready for candlelighting.
What did you say to him?
Hey, I was a kid once.
I don't know if you both have to be here. Which one of you is the cameraman?
That'd be me.
That's chock full of fun stuff. I mean, every scene in that movie is fun. My favorite one for me, in particular, is the blind bride scene, where my character is escorting a bride down the aisle and she's blind. And it's just a nice, touching moment, and it's actually the moment where my character, who's pretty hard through the most of the movie, turns, and suddenly you see a soft side. And that was fun to play as an actor.
Well, you're just the most beautiful bride I've ever seen.
You say that to all your brides.
No, I don't.
Around the same time we did Video Guys, I did my own film that I directed called Night for Day, which was a dramatic sort of vampire romance before Twilight and all that stuff came out. We did it first, and I played a musician who happened to be a vampire. And he was trying to get to the woman he loved. He was trying to get out of the life that he was in. So that was sort of a broken down, a worn out character. There's a terrific little monologue I have actually with Dan Brennan. He plays a bar owner, and I'm confessing to him why I'm risking my life to go see this woman that I'm in love with. And I give this monologue about how her love is like music. And that's a well-written scene, and it really came out nice, and Danny plays off me nicely in that.
So haven't I been there before? Haven't I heard those words before? Yeah, many times from many different women. And they're all sorry they ever said it to me. But it wasn't until I heard her say them. It wasn't until I heard her say, "I love you." Till the sound of her floating on the air mixed with me and made me feel like I never did anything wrong and never could, that I realized I never heard those words before. Jimmy, it's not enough to just survive anymore. Wherever you're going, it's a dark place, man. You're crossing into a dark place and you can't come back.
In The Night Never Sleeps, Camarda plays the villain Iceman. He talks about the thought that went into creating the character.
He seemed like a wild dog, like a feral animal. So I wanted to have kind of different colored hair, some white, some black, change one color eye, move more canine. So everything I do is sort of this wolf and feral kind of thing, and that was what I'm building off of as a character. And it's just a generally creepy looking guy. The rest of his gang, I think, is interested in the money and interested in the drugs and all that stuff, and I'm just sort of this wild animal they let out who's really just interested in chaos. He's more happy to just hurt people and chew on the things in front of him. Just a complete sociopath, and that's really fun to play.
I've worked with Russ many times before. This time we play adversaries. I'm the good guy cop. He's the bad guy Iceman. He's a thoroughly ruthless killer. And Russ gets into the part so well that a couple of times I want to break up on camera because he so disappears into the part. It's actually really, really creepy. I think it's the best performance he's ever done.
Camarda also shares a scene with TV star Robert Clohessy.
He's a great actor. He gives you a lot of stuff. He came with a lot of different ideas, and we got to play around with it a little bit. And I think the scene's pretty creepy, so I was happy with it. It's great to work with actors who are kind of gung-ho about the whole thing. I mean, this is a cold night to be out, and he's a trooper. He came out, he stood, got his lighting done, got his, he was there for every take. He was there for me in my close-ups, which a lot of times the actors don't do, some of the other offlines and stuff. So he's a real pro. Good guy to work with. I'd work with him again in a heartbeat.
Basically, I think it went really well. We had lots of fun. I thought about it a while before we actually did it, and Fred left it open for us to just improvise it a bit and just go with it, and that's exactly what we did.
Well, in the scene, Robert Clohessy's a cop coming down to shake down the bad guys, and the way I've looked at my character is he's sort of kind of thrives on the chaos of the event, and he's really enjoying the whole teasing him and playing with him and aggravating him, and it's a great thing to play for an actor to get right in the other actor's face, and the more he tries to rough you up, the more you play to enjoy ripping him.
The scene that we just shot with Russ Camarda and Robert Clohessy was like watching Ali Fraser in the boxing ring. I mean, you got these two amazing actors that just keep raising the bar. It was intense. Clohessy is A-list actor. I said this before. Directing was like you're in cruise control, so like driving a Ferrari. And Dan Brennan and Russ Camarda, who are like just phenomenal. Of all the movies that I've done, I always tell people, what's the secret to a great independent film? It's story and acting performances. Because if the acting's good and no one's taken out of the moment, then everyone's going along for the ride. And it's just been like the bar's been really high. It's been great.
It's a small community of filmmakers, particularly on Long Island and locally. So all these guys kind of know each other. And when Fred called us in on this to be a part of it as actors, it was a thrill because we never get to, get back in front of the camera. So once we all got hooked up together, we decided to become producing partners on it, and now we're working together. So it's sort of like for the Long Island indie community, it's like the four local filmmakers are working on this project. So it's kind of fun to watch how everybody works, watch how the different guys approach things, and we all kind of work together to make the set run well. And I think right now it's working out pretty cool. The price point now to get the equipment, to get the cameras, all that is low enough that if you take the money you would invest in film school, not that film schools are bad, but if you take the money you'd invest there and buy your stuff and go make mistakes and go shoot, if you do that, you're going to be a filmmaker. And not only will you be a filmmaker, but after, a few times through, you'll have a portfolio of things that all your other contemporaries won't have because you have been shooting. So I would say if you want to be a filmmaker, buy the stuff and go shoot. That's my best advice.
You can check out The Night Never Sleeps in theaters and film festivals this summer. Collura reporting.